So a continued welcome for everyone making their way in. We are just taking a couple of minutes to slow down, finding that stillness in the physical body so that we can begin to tune in to kind of our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts. Checking in with where your mind is. I always like to take a couple of minutes to just check in with where you are. We're not trying to be any particular place, just seeing how you're feeling right here, right now. And then acknowledging, however you're feeling, right? There's no judgment. If you feel kind of rushed and stressed and your mind doesn't want to slow down, it's okay. Simply note that. Listen, this is how I feel, and that's okay. Don't fight it so much, right? Fighting it makes this battle, right? And then we just feel more wound up. Just accept however you're feeling. I mentioned the other day, right? Seasons change, seasons come and go. Our feelings, our emotions come and go. Wherever you are, take a minute to just breathe. Inhaling a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just imagine letting go. Maybe there's something specific. Maybe it's just this let go. Just imagine letting go. And then I have a reading to share with you tonight. I don't always, but this comes from the Daily Om, which I like to share from time to time. And this is about placing blame. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the pieces that kind of really jump out. It says, ultimately, we cannot insist that someone else take responsibilities for their actions. Only they can make that choice when they are ready. In the meantime, if we want to move forward with our lives, instead of waiting around for something that may or may not happen, we begin to see wisdom of taking the situation into our own hands. We do this by forgiving those that we need to forgive rather than placing blame. In short, we love ourselves as we want to be loved and create the life we know we deserve. We leave the resolution of the wrongdoings committed against us in the hands of the universe, releasing ourselves to live a life free of blame. So take a moment with that. We have probably all at some point or another assigned blame. And what this is saying is we can't make someone else feel sorry for their actions, right? And we can be hurt, we can be angry, we can be mad, but what we feel doesn't change what we think occurred, this blame that we're placing. So we have to just choose to forgive, and maybe that means forgive and move on, move away from it, break ties. Maybe that means forgive and we can repair whatever relationship is there. But it does us no good to sit around and feel angry. That only hurts us. So I invite you, if there is something that you need to release, right? Use this practice, use this time to release it. And with that, we'll bring the palms of our hands together, lifting our thumbs to our heart. And no matter what we're feeling, even if we are feeling angry and frustrated and we're having a hard time letting go of any of that, take a moment to love yourself. Forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. We're human. We are divine beings within this human body, living this human experience. So forgive your human self. Love your human self. When you're ready, allow that chin to tuck, and as the eyes are down, you can begin to open the eyes, pausing, let the light in. When you're ready, release the hands. Welcome, everyone. All right, we are going to come into some stretching positions. We're going to start with that bound angle pose. So it's a little bit different than butterfly, and then our feet are away from us. So I've got quite a bit of space here. Now I can always take some pillows and stack them in my lap. As many, I could stack them all the way up, or I don't have to. But I'm just going to relax my shoulders and start with a hinge forward. So I'm just hinging, I'm leading with my chest, keeping my chest up. And as I hinge, you may start to feel, right, some action down your outer thigh area. You may feel some lengthening in your spine, some spreading in your low back, a side joint. I invite you to stay here with the chest forward for a few breaths. Think about lengthening the crown of the head out and away from the tailbone. Pull the shoulder blades down your back. Take another inhale. Then on your exhale, gently let your upper body start to round. And that's where these pillows can come in real handy, because maybe you stack enough that you can really just kind of release into the pillows. Allowing your back to soften, to let go. It doesn't have to hold any tension. You may still be feeling something down the outside of your upper legs. Find the place that feels comfortable enough to stay here for a little while. And using your exhale, try to soften your body. Releasing physical tension, as well as mental, emotional. Couple more breaths here. And then on our inhale, we'll slowly make our way up. We're going to come a little bit deeper, kind of moving up the outer leg into more of the glute position. And you're going to have a couple of options here. So one option is to keep the left leg long, cross the right leg over. So that leg can stay long or bent. And then we're going to hug the right knee in, lengthening to the crown of her head. And we have some option to twist here. Right? So this is a perfect place to choose. If you want to get a little deeper into the hip, instead of hugging the right knee in, you can start to let that right knee stack on top of the left knee into cow face legs. Right? So you have that first option. Feel free to stay there. Maybe you come here and you're like, I want to go back to the first option, right? You can. If you come into this position and you feel pretty good seated here, you are welcome to fold forward. Maybe another great place for some pillows to lean into. You don't have to fold forward. Maybe you set up. I invite you to find somewhere within these couple of postures place where you feel like some releasing is happening in your hips, but it's not so intense that you kind of struggle with your breath. You can use your breath to deeply exhale. Your eyes can be open, they can be closed. But I invite you to try to just stay within yourself. Noticing what you want to hold on to, noticing what you want to let go of. And knowing that you hold the complete power to that. No one else can let go of something for us, right? Back to that beginning. Blaming someone else for something, even if it is something they did, right? If it's causing anger and hurt and frustration within us, there's nothing we can do to change the other person. We can only let go of what we're feeling. That doesn't mean we have to maintain a. And then maybe pause in your internal reflection and notice your physical body. Does it feel any different than when we started the stretch? Notice that physical tension letting go. And then we'll slowly move out of this position. Take your time, maybe lengthen your legs long. We will get to that other side in a moment. We take a minute here, just kind of moving around, lengthening the legs, and then coming into as much of a forward fold as you like. So again, these pillows come in handy. If I can reach my feet comfortably, go for it, but it's no big deal. Maybe you need 5 or 6 pillows. That's great also. Find that length through the entire back of the body. Stretching in the calves. Stretching behind the knees, through the hamstrings. And finding that just right spot in the stretch, hanging out there. Feel free to take a little movement through your upper body. You can kind of twist to one side a little and the other. Roll your neck, shake it, nod it. Some light movements to release any tension. And we'll slowly make our way up. And we'll work through those couple of different variations of the stretch on the other side. So right leg is long, step. First step is just crossing that left leg over, hugging in here. Or bending the right knee and hugging in, but we want to lengthen our spine, right? One thing you can do in this position, right, is you can get the twist in there. So if that back twist feels good, then maybe you prefer this position. Or we have more of our knee stack, which I just find this gives me a little deeper stretch into my hip, but it's all about what we want tonight. So choosing whichever place feels best to you. Leaning forward or not. Just because you commit to coming to a place doesn't mean you have to stay there. Once you find that just right place, then try to find a little bit of stillness. Maybe making note if one side was tighter than the other. Just knowledge for yourself. When you do a little stretching on your own or even in class, and you know that you're a little tighter on one side than the other, you can always choose to hold one side a little longer. You don't have to switch the same time I switched. Checking in with your face, your neck, your shoulders. See if a little movement may help release tension. And then we'll slowly make our way up. Pausing just briefly here, just to kind of shake our legs out. Oh. And then if you have some pillows, keeping them, you can definitely do these next postures without them, but we're gonna come down onto our back and get some chest opening. So if you can see, what I like to do is have two pillows and I slant one off the other. And then I'm gonna kind of rest my shoulders on this top pillow and I'm gonna let my head be a little lower on the second pillow. Now I could do that with just one pillow and let my head rest on the floor, right? Or I can use no pillows. It's not a big deal. But if you would like to try the pillows, let's take a moment to situate yourself. So I kind of have my head, my shoulders on one pillow, and then my head gets to be a little bit lower than my shoulders, adding to my heart opening. We'll deal with the legs in a minute, but just starting with the arms, reaching the arms up by the ears. And then because my shoulders are a little raised, as the back of my hands fall towards the floor, I get some nice passive stretching in my shoulders. Now you can also try this more in a Y or a T position. And you're welcome to move back and forth through the positions as well, whatever feels best to you. And then we'll add the legs by letting the knees fall apart, bottoms of the feet together, into this reclining butterfly. Heart opening, hip opening. And again, it's always okay to move around a little bit so you can change your arm positions. You can even do a little moving. I like to just kind of move my arms a little. Eyes open or closed. Inviting yourself to just begin to rest. Taking a time out, if you will. Right? So our mind, maybe we have been checking in during class, and that's something we need to do from time to time. But it's also okay to sometimes say, you know what? I've got a lot of frustration. I've got a lot of anger. I've got a lot of this. I've got a lot of anxiety, whatever it may be. But I'm going to give myself permission for like 10 minutes to just not think about it. I know that sometimes I need to work through things and think about things. But sometimes I just need to step away from it. Because when I come back to it, I might view it differently. So now maybe it's a good time for that. To just step away. And in that step away, you could travel to a place that makes you think of peace and calm. You could revisit any kind of favorite meditation or mindfulness activity if there's, just something that resonates with you. Maybe you've done mindful moments with Steph and I, or maybe you have something from another person or class. All right, invite you to just simply focus on your breath. Think, inhale, exhale. And just keep coming back to the breath and repeating, inhale, exhale. If your mind wanders away from your peaceful state, just simply bring it back. You don't have to make a big deal about it. Simply come back to the breath or to the visual of wherever you decided to travel. Think of this as practice. Right? So right now in this moment, you may not be feeling stuff that you feel like you need to take a break from. But if we practice doing so, then when we're in those moments that we need to do it, right, we're able to. Those moments where maybe we're in a medical exam, right, and we're a little nervous. Or maybe there's traffic and we're frustrated. And our mind, our body will come back to this ability to be able to let go because we've practiced it. And then slowly you can begin to release your arms from overhead, maybe assist in lifting the knees up. You're welcome to stay on pillows. I kind of like to slide off my pillows at this point, but it's completely up to you. I'm just going to reach down and take those knees and give ourselves a big hug. And maybe rock around side to side. And you can stay right here in this knee hug position, or we'll work towards happy baby, pausing wherever it feels good to us. So here, or we can maybe just start to pull the knees apart, maybe holding behind the knees, or maybe reaching out for that full happy baby. And then you, of course, have the option in happy baby to keep the knees bent or kind of work on some straddling. or moving back and forth. Just try to let your body dictate what it wants, rather than that ego or that mind that tries to, tell us we need to do a specific thing. Let your body decide what it wants. Maybe it doesn't want to hug its knees or hold in happy baby. Maybe there is another pose that your body is begging you to do. Please do it. And then feel free to stay where you are, or maybe you are ready to begin to stretch your legs out long, taking your time. Noticing your breath. Grabbing blankets or pillows. If it's a little cool, I invite you to just wrap a blanket around you. Maybe even laying a couple of pillows on your chest, that gentle pressure point. It signals to our nervous system, right? It just kind of calms it. It's like a little bit of a hug. A weighted blanket or a warm blanket. Let yourself find Shavasana. I brought you here a couple of minutes before the official end of our class tonight, so we definitely all have a couple of minutes to give. If you ever feel like, oh, Shavasana, it's a waste of time, it's okay. I've been there. Right? That was the beginning of my yoga journey. I was doing power yoga and thinking, Shavasana, I don't have time for that. I would have never dreamed of doing a full yin class. So just knowing that, just like being able to run a mile, being able to be still in Shavasana, it takes practice. But I encourage you to keep trying. And maybe you do only make it 1 minute, but then try to stay 2. And I invite you all, even as our official time is getting close to ending, I invite you to maybe challenge yourself to stay a little bit longer. And don't stay there in a fight with yourself, right? Let yourself rest. Give yourself permission to enjoy the gift of a couple of extra minutes. And I'll close out the meeting so there's no hurry on your part. I do invite you, when you are ready to move, take a little bit of time doing so. Try not to rush. Love and light in me honors the love and light in each of you. Namaste.